A new proof that Jungkook has a girlfriend has surfaced 2 years later, and people are already talking about it as if it were the most real thing in the world. But if you take a second to look closely, it all starts to make sense. The outfit he's wearing in that photo doesn't even match the one he wore to the event he attended with his best friend Ming in 2023. The hairstyle doesn't match either, and yet they decide to publish that image as if it were recent, as if it were confirmation. 2 years later, just when everything was calm, they try the same thing again. It's as if they're repeating the same old trick, the same poorly told story that no one should believe anymore. The curious thing is that this supposed new photo is very reminiscent of what happened with Taehyung in Paris. Again, a blurry image, taken from a distance and in the dark, implying without proof that the person in it is Jungkook. But if you look closely at the details, something doesn't add up. Since when is Jungkook so tall, or does he have that face shape? That man simply isn't him. The people who edited this thought no one would notice, but they failed at the most basic thing. They gave him 2 different shoes, one white and one black. It's so obvious it's almost comical. The strangest thing is that there are still people who believe this. Do they really think Jungkook, being one of the biggest stars in K-pop, would walk around so casually with a supposed girlfriend, knowing that fans follow him everywhere? It doesn't make sense. Jungkook has always been careful, and if there's one thing that shows his personality, it's how he avoids these kinds of situations. The same thing happened when Taekook went to a restaurant and they had to leave because they were being harassed. And now they want people to believe that he's strolling hand in hand with someone, without a care in the world, whether it's cameras, fans, or rumors. It's absurd. Most likely, this is all planned, just like they did before with Taehyung. It's the same pattern, a dubious photo, a fabricated context, and a made-up story to create a buzz. Every time Taikok shines for something, a distraction like this appears, just in time to divert attention. But what those who invent these rumors don't understand is that people who have followed Taikok for years already recognize the differences. They already know when something is being manipulated. They aren't swayed by the first image they see. In the end, what's clear is that there are people who can't stand seeing the connection between Taehyung and Jungkook, and they look for any excuse to create confusion. However, those who trust them know how to read between the lines. They know when something is staged and when there's truth behind it. That's why these kinds of rumors only reinforce the obvious, that they're always trying to separate them with lies that don't hold up for a second. Every time they come up with something like this, the story ends the same way. The evidence falls apart, the details don't add up, and the people who spread the lie disappear when confronted. That's why the best thing is not to fall into the trap. Don't give space to those who feed on chaos. Let them keep talking if they want. In the end, time always puts everything in its place. The important thing is to maintain faith in Taikok, without letting yourself be swayed by recycled rumors. Because in the end, those who invent these things end up alone, trapped in their own attempt to manipulate what they can't control. And when karma does its work, everything will be understood without needing to say more. Taekook forever. In recent days, many fans have expressed their sadness at seeing how a false rumor has once again cast doubt on Jungkook's image, also affecting Taehyung and the bond they have shared for years. It all started when AI-edited content circulated, presented as if it were real. The situation generated confusion and unfair criticism of Jungkook, even though several fans have proven the evidence to be fake. This type of manipulation is not new and is reminiscent of what happened 2 years ago when something similar affected Taehyung. History seems to be repeating itself, but with the same consequences: pain, mistrust, and misunderstandings among fans. The saddest part is how easily some people believe something false without verifying its origin. Instead of trusting what Taehyung and Jungkook have always demonstrated through their actions, many are swayed by posts that only seek to cause harm. The love and connection between Taekook have been constant, even in the face of criticism. They have both grown together in the industry, facing pressure, rumors, and false stories that try to tear them apart. But far from drifting apart, they have always remained steadfast and united. The recent rumor against Jungkook seems to have a clear purpose: to damage his image at a time when his career continues to grow. Some people even suggest that there are vested interests or strategies behind this to distract attention from other issues. But, beyond these theories, what matters is recognizing that Jungkook did nothing wrong. The circulating evidence has been analyzed and compared, and it has been confirmed that the images do not correspond to him or his actual surroundings. Even so, the emotional damage caused by these situations is enormous, especially when patterns of hatred and misinformation are repeated. The same thing happened with Taehyung a couple of years ago. At that time, false rumors were also spread that attempted to tarnish his name. In both cases, the result was the same: a portion of the public was divided between those who believed the manipulated evidence and those who took the time to seek the truth. Despite everything, neither Jungkook nor Taehyung ever responded with anger or hurtful words. Their way of dealing with these attacks has always been to remain calm, keep working, and continue showing who they truly are. Many fans agree that the current situation demonstrates how quickly reality can be distorted online. In a matter of hours, something false is shared thousands of times, and cleaning up a lie becomes much harder than inventing one. The most worrying thing is how this type of content can affect fans' trust, creating doubts where none existed before. Taekook has always shown genuine affection, both in public and in the simplest moments that fans have witnessed. Although evidence has been presented proving the rumor false, there will always be people who doubt or prefer to believe the negative. That's the most frustrating part, seeing how, even with the truth right in front of them, some voices insist on fueling distrust. But fans who know their story well can distinguish between what's real and what's fabricated. They know that what Taekook represents cannot be destroyed with an edit or a viral lie. What's truly striking is how some people within the fandom feel entitled to judge the members differently, as if there were a secret manual for deciding what's right and wrong depending on who's doing it. The same gesture, the same look, the same behavior, but if it's Taehyung or Jungkook, suddenly everything is wrong. They're criticized, questioned, and drama is created. On the other hand, if it's Jimin, everything seems perfect, natural, almost untouchable, and no one feels they need to explain anything. It's hard not to wonder if we're really seeing the same thing or if we're letting our personal preferences dictate what we consider right. It's not about comparing them to say who's better or worse, but about understanding that they all do similar things. It's just that the fans' reactions change. In recent days, many fans have expressed sadness and frustration over how a false rumor once again cast doubt on Jungkook's image, and in turn affected Taehyung and the relationship they've had for years. It all started with AI-edited content presented as real. The confusion spread quickly, and unfair criticism of Jungkook surfaced without any real evidence, although several fans took it upon themselves to prove it was all false. It's hard to see how something like this can affect someone, even when it's clearly baseless. Sometimes, you notice that even the critics don't realize how much their gestures betray them. Jungkook doesn't look at anyone else the same way. He doesn't try to approach them with the same calmness he has with Taehyung. It's something that arises naturally, without words or explanations. That small space they share seems to be theirs alone, even though they're surrounded by everything else. For those who observe them closely, it's clear, there's a different way they communicate, silent, almost invisible to others, but it says so much without them having to say a word. Every gesture, every glance, every moment they cross paths and understand each other without speaking, reveals a connection that needs no proof or defense. It's so simple and so real that you only need to see it for a moment to understand it. The small details that they themselves don't seem to notice are perceived by fans who truly follow their relationship. Taekook has a way of being that can't be described with complicated or exaggerated words. It's something you feel, something you can sense in the air when they're together. And even though there are rumors, confusion, or criticism, that way of communicating remains constant, intact, as if nothing could touch it. It's curious to think about how something as simple as a look can cause so much debate, and at the same time, need no explanation for those who truly know how to see. Perhaps it's not about what they do, but about who is observing, what they expect to see, and what they prefer to believe. And while all of that is happening around them, they remain themselves, sharing moments that only they understand, without drama, without exaggeration, simply being close, simply being Taekook.